Hello guys, Sun Warrior here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my classes in Insurgency Sandstorm. Currently, I have over 4,000 hours in the game on Steam, and in those 4,000 hours, not only has my gameplay improved over time, but it's also given me a good idea of what works and what doesn't, and the opportunity to see what other high school players are doing. I am going to be honest, I don't have much experience playing the console versions, but if works for me on PC is something you guys use on console as well, let me know. Or if you have any other tips for console players as well, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. Okay guys, so we're going to be starting with the security side. Here we have my go-to rifleman class. As you can see, I have the MDR selected. The MDR was recently added to the game a couple of updates ago. It is the most overpowered gun to ever be brought into Insurgency Sandstorm, as it kills as fast as the Ace 52, the Trevor, and you can use it at all ranges. It has little to no recoil compared to those two competitors in the same ammo class. So let's look at the attachments I'm using. The red dot sight 2x by 1x. In terms of a scope / red dot attachment, it all comes down to preference, personal preference. While some guns in this game have very good iron sights, such as the AK platform, I personally find that I'm able to find my target at a much faster speed at long range with the 2x red dot. I find it's the perfect mix between long range and short range. You know, the 4x is a little bit too scoped in, the 1x is not scoped in enough. In my opinion, the 2x is just right. Okay, the ability to swap back to a 1x at a moment's notice is also key. Personally, I've developed the ability to use the 2x scope at close range proficiently. That being said, I still will switch to my 1x red dot when it makes sense to do so. Now, all of the scopes, the holographic 2x, on the Insurgent side, you have the Cobra, you have the OKP, you know, personal preference, whichever you prefer. I personally prefer the red dot as it's, you know, simple. There's nothing to obscure my screen. It's just a red dot. It's what I like. But it's personal preference. Okay, let's move on to the next attachment, the flash hider. Okay, so the flash hider is very useful, especially on maps like Crossing or Outskirts. It does what the name entails. It lowers the flash that is produced when firing the weapon. If you are in pretty good cover and camouflage decently, it can really help you remain undetected by the enemy team when you're firing your weapon, which is extremely useful because, for example, you could be shooting one enemy and his teammate could be at a different angle and respond to your gunfire and shoot you while you're still trying to secure the first kill. Okay, very useful attachment. Let's move on to the next attachment, the aiming grip. Now this is a very important attachment on PC. The recoil in Insurgency Sandstorm, in my opinion, is very manageable. In fact, you can hold mouse 1 with most weapons for several seconds with little to no recoil in this game. If you do hold mouse 1 too long, yes, the recoil will start to become uncontrollable. The time it takes for this to happen is your window to secure your kill. With that in mind, and the recoil being so manageable, the aiming grip allows you to come out of sprint quicker and aim down sights. It is almost instantaneous, and in a game where you die in a single bullet, at times this is paramount. It's extremely quick even if you're not sprinting, because being caught sprinting is bad, but aiming grip can let you be at a disadvantage of being caught in sprint and actually get out of that situation and win the gunfight if your aim is good. And because aiming grip gave you the speed, you were able to get on target and outreact the enemy. So yeah, all that being said, aiming grip is an extremely useful attachment. Let's move on to the extended mag. Okay, so this is a personal preference of mine, but I use this on every gun, especially the MDR, as the MDR without the extended mag has a 20 mag capacity. And using the extended mag brings it to a more reasonable 30 round mag. Now, more bullets means less reloading, which means you're in the fight longer and you're able to secure, you know, those beautiful multi-kills, especially with the MDR, because this gun just melts everybody. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next category. Now we're going to take a step back here a little bit as we've made it to the secondary and explosive categories, as these categories are where the situation at hand is key. Now, there are certain situations and scenarios, for example, where a smoke grenade is extremely useful and key to getting across the map. In these situations, I can make small changes. Now, for example, I can forego the secondary temporarily so that I can equip a smoke grenade. If I am in a close quarters map such as Tell, then in that case, I may not need a flash hider. So I can take off the flash hider and put on a Tariq. The reason why I can do that is because the flash hider is extremely more useful on open and long range maps such as crossing and outskirts, like I said before. So in that case, if I'm playing Tell, which is close quarters or prison, I can forego the flash hider, put back my Tariq, as it may be useful, especially close quarters, to have a secondary, right? Alright, so as well, I may need a gas mask. In that situation, I may take off the secondary, put on a gas mask. The enemy team could have used chemical mortars. I may need to walk in smoke. I may have to throw a smoke, and I want to walk into that smoke or run without making a noise, because the coughing, it creates a sound cue in this game, which is extremely deadly. If an enemy hears you coughing in this game, they know exactly where you are. You're basically going to die. It takes away any kind of surprise you have to get the first shot. It sucks to have that sound cue when your character coughs. Now, one tip I definitely have is do not be afraid to open up the menu and make a quick change that could make or break whether or not you win the game. One smoke grenade can change the entire balance of an entire game. It could mean that you get behind enemy lines when you couldn't have before. Behind the enemy, you're able to shoot the multiple enemies in the back and allow your team to come in from different lanes. It can completely change an entire game. Can't stress it enough. Now, let's move on to ammo carrier. When I first started playing Insurgency, I always used ammo carrier. The 2 extra magazines definitely comes in handy when going on long streaks. But currently, my in-game meta has changed. I still use the ammo carrier occasionally, and here is when I do use it. I use the ammo carrier on first round of defense. The first round of defense, when you spawn into the map, you are able to take full advantage of your side of the map, as no enemies are there yet. So what I suggest you do is find a proper power position and hold it. Because you're not moving that much, the movement speed nerf that you receive from the extra 2 magazines is not that much of an issue. Therefore, it is useful to bring in the light carrier in this situation, possibly even over the Tariq or flash hider, again, depending on the map you're playing. In case you didn't know, your movement speed is faster when you don't have an ammo carrier, and also armor. So I bring it in first wave on defense because I don't really care that I can't move fast, because I'm going to be going into a power position where I'm not going to be moving that much, or if I do move, I'm moving from one window to another window. It's very minimal. I'm not running around that much on defense first wave. Okay, now let's say you're holding a laner angle and your teammates have died on the objective, and unfortunately you now need to make a rotation to point. So you get to the objective, you manage to kill an enemy, but unfortunately you die to a corner camper or explosive, etc. So now you're on the loading screen. You're waiting to respawn. At this point in time, I am 100% removing light carrier and putting back my secondary or flash hider. Not only for the benefit of having a flash hider or Tariq, which I've already explained the benefits of those, but also, again, the movement speed. So which means I'm able to get back into the fight faster and have a higher percentage chance to save the objective, as I could possibly get there in time. But not only that, the increased movement speed means I can pop around corners faster, so there's actually like a gameplay advantage being faster. I'm going to share a quick tip here that does not only apply to Insurgency, but other games as well. When you turn a corner slowly, especially when you turn it on a very tight angle, you are actually giving the enemy combatant more time to shoot first. So what I suggest you do instead is take corners faster and at wider angles, which actually gives you the advantage and allows you to see the enemy first. If taking a wider angle is not possible and you do not have a frag grenade or the time to pull one out, what I suggest is, and what has been working for me, is you sprint the corner and then aim in. It makes you a harder target and to track, and is also more difficult for the enemy to respond to something that's moving across their screen quickly than something that is slow, So that's my tip. Take it or leave it, but it is what I do in this game to dominate. Alright guys, so I just want to quickly go over the best guns for security and then as well for insurgents, just to finish off the video. So here we go. So we already talked about the MDRs, you know, so I'll go over a couple other honorable mentions. You know, the VHS, very good on tell. It's very good on any close quarters map, has an extremely high fire rate, so it kills very quickly. It's very good on close quarters, very good gun. Now the most kills I have in Insurgency is with the M4A1, because before the MDR came out, this was my go-to, and it's still very good and still very viable. It's a very good gun. It has way less recoil than the MDR. It's a laser, so you can kill with it extremely quickly, just for the fact that you won't be missing at all, because every single bullet will go on target. Even at long range, this gun, you can hold mouse 1 long range, you can spray someone down, you can spray a sniper down at long range with this gun. It's insane. It's really good, no recoil at all, so it gets an honorable mention. And that completes it for the rifleman class. We'll go to breacher, honorable mentions. You know, the honey badger is good, it just doesn't have an extended mag. If it had an extended mag, it would be a very good class. So in my opinion, I think the MP7 is the best gun in this class. So what I would run with it is something like this on offense. Okay, so you know, I got the extended mag. It makes this gun extremely good. You know, it's really hard to use this gun without the extended mag because it has a high fire rate. But yeah, this class is very good here. And of course, you know, you have the shotguns, but I wouldn't recommend the shotguns on the security side. I would recommend them definitely on the insurgent side, and we'll get there in a second. Okay, so advisor, Tavor, if you want to use a nerf MDR, this used to be the best gun in the game before the MDR came out. It just, you know, it had a little bit more recoil than the M4A1, so I'd use the M4A1 more, but this gun is still very good. It just has a little bit more recoil, and it's a little bit more harder to use than the MDR. Okay, this is my favorite gun to use with the suppressor, just because it's very similar to the M4A1. Gameplay wise, it's very similar, it's just that this gun has a suppressor, and I'd run it like that. Okay, whatever you need per the situation. Okay, let's move on. If I was going to recommend demolitions, well, there's a couple options here. So here we have an M4A1 class, or essentially a viable rifleman. You're not slowed down by ammo or armor, but you just spawn with a RPG. You know, it's very, you can swap it out for this, the AT4, you can swap it out for the M321, and maybe get a secondary if you want, or instead of that, you could, I don't know, put a flash hider here. So that's one option. If you want to go with the option, which I see a lot of people do, of course, you know, they'll go with, you know, a G3, and they will put on the explosive, and they will carry this, the Moz, and they want to go, so that, and then they'll use the heavy carrier. So now they have 2 rockets in the RPG, and they'll have 2 explosives in the explosive launcher. This is viable as well. To be honest, I don't really use demolitions that often, but if I were to use it, I'd probably go with the first option I showed you, where I have a viable rifle M4 with aiming grip, and then I also have 1 rocket just in case I need it. Okay, sniper, best sniper class for security in my opinion is the SAS. This is how I typically run it. You know, I'll bring the extra ammo. If I die and I don't need the ammo, take it off, put on a better secondary. Typically I run the bipod just because, you know, it makes it very stable, but there's a couple options. Obviously you can take off the bipod, put on an aiming grip, though it's not really necessary. I quick scope without the aiming grip all the time, and it's perfectly viable. But anyways, the best weapon is the SAS. Gunner, okay, best gunner class, probably gonna say the M60. It gives you, you know, the ability to go prone with it. As a bipod, it's you're able to run and gun with it. It's a very good class. It's kind of like the RPK, came out at the same time as the RPK, but it's definitely the running gun. It's definitely the running gun LMG in this game. Alrighty. Move on. River and Commander have the same weapons as the Rifleman, other than the Rifleman can deploy a bipod on his rifle, whereas Commander Observer can't. Other than that, they are the same. All right. So let's get into the Insurgents now. So in my opinion, the best gun in the Insurgents class is the AK-74, and I like to run it just like this. Alrighty. Still running the 2x scope, just using the Cobra because it doesn't interfere, as I find that if I use the Mars on the AK, it just in-game it looks crazy dumb. It blocks like the whole screen, so I don't run it like that. I just run it with the Cobra. I'm still using aiming grip for the reasons I discussed earlier in the video, extended mag for the same reasons. I like the M9 just because it is a very good secondary, and I have some points to spare because I don't want ammo carrier, I don't want armor. I can't put in a different explosive without ammo carrier, so I like to run frag, especially on defense, where I don't need smokes. But if I do need a smoke, I can just throw a smoke on there and I'll run quick drop, and I just run the class just like this. Best gun for Rifleman Insurgents, hands down. It kills in 2 bullets. It has a higher fire rate than the regular AK. It's definitely worth the extra point. Yeah, all around best gun. Honorable mentions: the FAMAS. They recently updated the gun where you can now put an extended mag on it, whereas before you could not. So currently, I mean, if you can handle the rate of fire and not empty your mag on 1 kill, this could potentially be better than the AK-74 in some maps. On some maps, especially close quarters maps like Tell. High fire rate and close quarters works really well together. So definitely an honorable mention with the new update and the extended mag. It's definitely very good now. FAL, it's just like the Tavor and Ace 52, except it just has a 20 round mag without the option to put an extended mag on it. So very good gun, especially close quarters, just like those other guns where it kills really quickly. The only problem with it is simply the fact that it just has a 20 round mag. If they could put more ammunition into the magazine, that would definitely put it up there. QBZ, very good gun as well, actually. It shoots 5.56 instead of 7.62, etc. The 5.56 shoots incredibly accurate. It has a high velocity. It's definitely a gun that if you have problems with the recoil in this game, you definitely want to give it a try. Next up, we have the KS-23 in the Breacher class, and you got to take a look at this because this gun is amazing. The only problem with it is it only has 4 mag capacity. It says 3 here, but you can put an extra slug or flesh round into the gun. This gun is phenomenal. I recommend it with an aiming grip just so you can move faster and flèche rounds. I typically like to bring the Desert Eagle just because it's also a one-tap weapon. Honorable mention while I'm here for the pistol, it is the best pistol in the game. It's a one-tap. If you can manage the visual recoil on this gun, it's phenomenal. It's like a sniper in your pocket. You know, it really just kills in 1 bullet. Demolitions, same thing as before. You know, you can either run it like this, where you have 2 RPGs, 2 explosives in your AK. The AK platform has a very good iron sight, so you can use it with an iron sight. Or the other option, again, is if you want to just run a traditional rifleman class, but then carry an RPG, just so that you have it in your back pocket. Every spawn you get an RPG. That's pretty good. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, SVD, best gun, best sniper in the game in my opinion. Better than the SAS. It's just a more reliable one-shot kill than the SAS. The SAS sometimes it just takes 2 shots. This never takes 2 shots. This is only a 1 shot. So very good gun. I run around with this thing. You know, even with the 7 times, I run around and I just quick scope people. Very good gun. Phenomenal gun. Okay, so I'm gonna probably have to say the best LMG is the PKM. Pardon me. Sorry, the RPK. Just because you know, it's a very run and gun type of weapon. You know, it comes. You can have the aiming grip on it and still have the bipod. So you can deploy a bipod when you're prone, and then when you're not prone, you can deploy the aiming grip. That's phenomenal for a gunner. You know, allows you to run and gun with the gun. Very good. Compensator if you want to handle the extra recoil while you're running and gunning. Just have to give up, you know, the ability to have a flash hider. But you know, very good weapon. And again, Observer and Commander are the same as Rifleman, other than the Rifleman can deploy a bipod. Alright guys, so that's it for the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and notification bell for more videos. Thank you guys very much. Take care. Bye.